Welcome to Karpool with Kirsten, brought to you by Fempowerment, the show where extraordinary women share extraordinary stories. What if the two biggest callings in your life had absolutely nothing to do with each other? Until suddenly they did. My guest today went from gaining 60 pounds and battling eating disorders to becoming one of Dubai's top followed fitness coaches. While she was transforming bodies, something else was tugging at her heartstrings. What started as leaving food for stray cats on a cycling route on the way to work turned into a 7-bedroom sanctuary for over 500 rescues in her care, and a movement to change Dubai animal welfare entirely. Fitness coach, corporate speaker, and animal welfare warrior, Dina Taji. Welcome to the Karpool.
Thank you so much for having me here, Kristen, and congratulations on your new podcast.
Thank you.
I absolutely love the setup. This is so different and so unique, and I'm really so happy to be here. And I'm so happy that I met you.
I'm so happy that I met you.
Yeah, thank you.
I've done my research on you, and what comes up is all over the map. Kuwait, America, Dubai. Where are you actually from, and what's your story?
So I am originally Palestinian. I was born in Kuwait, and I moved to America when I was a little baby. Lived there in throughout my life till I was a teenager. Then I did high school in Qatar, and then I've been here for the past, I'd say 20 years right now.
Which of those places would you say feels most like home?
I don't think I could just kind of choose one place. I am Palestinian. Those are my roots. And being Palestinian is really what taught me how to be resilient and gave me that emotional depth. Growing up in America is what taught me how to be independent. Living my high school years in Qatar really taught me about community and connection and religion. And then being in the UAE is where I grew as a person. Like all of my growth really happened, most of it was here the past 20 years. I built my purpose, my career, everything that I built today happened in the UAE. So like UAE is my home, but all those places have shaped who I am today. But yes, originally Palestinian.
Where's Dina most happy?
Here. Really honestly here, you know?
Then that's beautiful, because that means that
But
happiness isn't a place.
No, it's not
anything.
a place. I mean, there are different parts of the world and things that you love enjoying. Like I love being in nature and being able to be in places where I'm in nature. Obviously, I'm going to love it. But at the end of the day, it's really how you feel inside within yourself and having that inner peace. This is the most important thing. It's not where you are. It's not who you are. It's how you feel about yourself internally. And the UAE has allowed me to connect with so many different people from different parts of the world. And it taught me so much. And I just grew so much as a person here. Like my purpose, rescuing cats and building my fitness app and the fitness classes and the coaching and the seminars with corporate companies. I've just connected with so many different people that come from different parts of the world that really taught me a lot, because I didn't really travel that much.
It's a really good point, because I mean, there's a lot of people, especially on social media, that say, "Oh, Dubai has no culture. Oh, Dubai lacks soul," and that's not true. Because if anything, Dubai has more culture than anywhere else in the world.
I mean, everyone has their own perspective on everything in life based on the experiences that they've been through and what they focus on. So, of course, you're going to have people that are going to say some countries don't have as much culture or no soul or whatever, because those are the things that they're focusing on. Those are the people that they're meeting. They're in that world, you know? Like I've seen when I've been here for 20 years, and throughout those years, I put a lot of my time into going to different seminars and meeting different coaches and all of that. So my world would be completely different than a world of someone that's going out and partying in bars and drinking and all of that. So everyone will have their own perspective, and it's just a reflection of what they're focusing on, not necessarily the reality of it. So here, I love the UAE. They hold so much spirituality, religion, family. I've learned so much being here. Honestly, I've learned so much. And the day that I moved to this country, I've never, ever met people that I didn't know. And they were just so kind. When I arrived, I was lost, and everyone was so helpful and everyone was so respectful. And I'm like, the people here are such beautiful people, and they're so welcoming. Like, look how many people come from different parts of the world. And the local people are always so respectful, so welcoming, so kind, so supportive. And you don't get that everywhere you go. You know what I mean? And they gave us this opportunity to live in their country and to try to live a better life and to try to grow our career. And that's exactly what happened for me. That's my experience. And that's why I stayed here for the past 20 years. And I grew so much as a person because of that opportunity.
And I mean, you spoke about fitness coaches right now, that you've met so many along the way, and how different your life would have been if you had not gone through all those weight issues and the eating disorders, when you would not be Dina that you are today, and all those other opportunities that open up because of that. So let's talk about your fitness journey for a second,
Sure.
right?
Yeah.
You speak about the moment that you looked in the mirror and you realize, I'm this much overweight, this is it. Halas.
Yeah.
I'm done.
Yeah.
What was that moment like for you?
I think that it wasn't about looking at myself in the mirror and thinking, I hate what I see. It's more of a realization of, I miss myself. I miss myself. And it just made me realize how I let myself go. And I didn't have love for myself and respect. And it just made me want to really self-reflect and realize, how did I get here? Because I didn't get there in a healthy way. When I gained the weight, you can gain a little bit of healthy weight, that's fine. No, I was depressed. I didn't know what I wanted to do with my life at the time. At that age, I felt like most people had kind of like their future figured out, and I didn't know what I wanted to do. I didn't know how I wanted to start. My family were going through a lot of difficulties at the time, and I just didn't know how to cope with it all. And food was one way of doing it. But that just really, it was just a realization that this is not who I am, and I want to take care of myself.
Cool. I mean, what were you going personally through at the time when all this was happening? Like, was there any struggles in your life that was forcing you to like depend on food, or was it just kind of, I don't really have the time to take care of myself right now?
Growing up, my parents were doing pretty well off financially. And then my dad kind of got screwed over for about 27 million. My mom lost one of the biggest salons in the world. And, you know, we were just facing so many things at one point. And in that time, like I was a little spoiled little child. And in that age, now seeing my parents go through all these challenges. And I just was like, I want to be there for them. And now how can I do that at my age? I never worked a day in my life. Like I worked with my mom in her salon, but not in a way where my parents raised me to, you know, learn how to make my own money and kind of save, and all of that was nothing like that. There was like, oh, everything is taken care of, this, that.
Yeah.
They never really disciplined me that much as a child, to be fair. They were very cool and relaxed. And that stress weighed on me because I wanted to be able to provide. And I'm like, what am I going to do now? I'm in college, and how to continue college. We don't have the funds. And now my parents are struggling. And it was just a lot I was taking in. And then I took that role on to, I want to be there for my family. And how can I do that and move forward by providing for them? Because they were always there for me growing up as a child, the most generous people I've ever met in my entire life. But that can also weigh on you at a young age to take on that role of, you know, being the caretaker and wanted to do what you can. So there were also a lot of things going on in my life as well. At that age, I think when you transition to a younger woman, you know, and you're just like,
it's a really uncomfortable period.
Yeah. And I didn't really have anyone to talk to about it. I was always alone, and I didn't know what to do with my life. I always knew that I wanted to contribute to society. I always knew that. Since I was a child, I always wanted to help people and wanted to be part of a community. Oh, let's help this person. Let's help that person. But when I would think about it, I'm like, everything seemed overwhelming and impossible. Like, you want to save the world. Okay, how? You want to help all these people, but how? Yeah. Everything was just so overwhelming. And I'm like, I don't know what to do with my life. And I don't see myself sitting at a desk and working at a company that doesn't align with my values and how I see my future. So it was very difficult for me not knowing what to do, what to study.
Yeah.
And I got a bit comfortable, and I started just being at home more, not being as active, using food as a way to comfort myself. Within a short period of time is when I gained all that weight. And I really didn't realize it because I was so athletic growing up. So it was like, whoa, wow, this is just a symptom of what I was actually going through, rather than not, oh, I'm overweight right now. It's like, no, it's because of what I was going through.
Yeah.
I really need to understand myself better and learn how to cope with things that I'm going through in my life better.
Well, I mean, you said something that makes me think about the fact that, you know, when you have everything handed to you and you never actually have to think about, oh, how do I handle this? Or how do I navigate this? Like no one provides you with the practical tools and skills in order to get your life together. And then you're suddenly thrown into adulthood and it's like, oh no, like what do I actually do? And I mean the fact that you figured it out, you should give yourself grace for that because it's a challenge in its own. And
Thank you.
look at the woman that's sitting in front of me now, like everything that you've built, you should be really proud of yourself.
You should too.
But there's so many other women out there that are in that position that you and I both were in. And I just want you to give them a little piece of advice on how they can figure out those values for them through you, learning the do's and don'ts that you had to the hard way. What knowledge would you give to them?
The first thing that's really important is not to allow other people's limiting beliefs influencing your decision making. I remember even when I started rescuing cats and I barely had any money even to take care of myself. I got rid of my car. I started cycling so I could have more money. I stopped going out as much and stopped shopping and everything because I'm like, oh, I can do TNR. I can help this sick cat and that. And everyone used to tell me, what are you doing, Dina? You're wasting your time. You're wasting your money. It's never ending of cats that need rescuing. You're not going to make an impact by just taking a couple of cats off the street, you know? And it's just being able to quiet all of that noise because of how other people feel about it and following your heart. Honestly, just really sitting with yourself. And so many people feel like they are limited and they can't accomplish much because of their circumstances. But when you move with intention, you create motion. So in the beginning, I had nothing. And look where that brought me and where I am today. So it's being able to really follow what you're passionate about, sitting with yourself and saying, how do I see myself living my life and being true to yourself and doing whatever you can today, because today will grow and then tomorrow, and then life will redirect you. You don't always have to have everything figured out. Because I used to think, okay, I need a plan for everything. It's important to have a plan. It's important to kind of have an idea. If you might face some challenges, how would you cope with those challenges? And to think, how do you see yourself in a year, 5 years? But every day things change. So if you follow your heart and you learn from everything that life is trying to throw at you, that's how you get the direction. That's how you know what steps to take next. So I am grateful for all of the challenges and obstacles that came my way. I'm actually so grateful because I'm looking at everything that I'm going through and I'm like, okay, what is the universe trying to teach me right now? Because if I don't learn from it, I'm going to continue making some mistakes. I need to be strategic in my approach. So it's following your heart, combining it with strategy and saying, okay, how can I learn from this? Because this is what's trying to help redirect my So I've been facing so many challenges and literally every single day. Like you ask people who know me, they're like, I don't know how you deal with it, Dina. Every day there's like a new problem. And I'm like, no. The universe, God, life wants me to grow and is trying to show me the way. If I look deep enough and I try to understand it, this is what's going to allow me to become the version of myself that I need to be and to be able to achieve the goals that I want to achieve. So it's so important that whenever we're going through these challenges, to face them, look at them, what can I learn from this? Ask yourself different questions because people tend to kind of soak themselves in these challenges and, oh, I'm not going to be able to do this and I can't do that. And it's making it so difficult for me. It's not meant for me to do this. It's not meant for this to happen. People see challenges like as if it's a sign to tell you, don't do it. I see it as a challenge to learn from it and to grow from it. So see everything as you can as growth, not as something that's stopping you from actually doing it. And just don't let anyone discourage you. Take that to fuel yourself and believe in yourself. And don't compare yourself to anyone. So many people out there on social media right now and looking at others like, look what she's accomplished at this age. Look what person that she met that does this for her and loves her and all of that. We have all of this on social media and we get so caught up into social media. Put the phone away, put the social media away. Don't search for what's working for other people. We can get caught up into that as well. Be your authentic self because that's what people are going to connect with. That's what's going to continue your drive and make you feel good about yourself. Knowing that you're not faking anything, you're not following someone else's path or dream, and you're doing what sits right with you.
I mean, there's a saying that says that like your change in perspective will bring a lot of clarity to you. So basically, like you said, oh, all these things are happening. Why is this happening to me? But okay, also if you think about it in a way that how lucky am I to be in a position that I have to figure these problems out? That others don't get to have these opportunities that I've been given.
Yeah.
And I think if you change the way that you think about things, like the actions will reflect. Because I mean, everything that you've had to go through shaped you into the woman that you are today.
Yeah.
And it's given you the knowledge and the skills and the level of empathy to understand how to deal with the challenges that you have to face.
Yeah.
And I think it's all about just realizing that this isn't happening to you, it's happening for you.
I think a lot of people think it's happening to them because they're already overstimulated. You know, everything is, hold on. I think a lot of people, they feel like things are happening to them because they're already overstimulated, being on social media, dealing with stress, dealing with family, all of these things that go through on their day-to-day life, where your mind is running already at 1,000,000 miles per hour, including myself. And especially this year alone has taught me a lot on how to quiet the noise more, put my phone down more, be more present. I used to meditate before, and then I caught myself saying I used to a lot. And then that's very important that sometimes we do things that make us feel good and help us recenter ourselves, but then we fall out of routine because we get pulled away. We get pulled away from work. We get pulled away from relationship. We get pulled away from responsibility. And that was a huge learning point in my life recently where I'm like, okay, I need to put more time and effort into myself because if I'm more calm, if I sit with my thoughts and understand where everything is coming from and understanding how to calm my nervous system down, I will be able to think better and I will recharge myself. If we're overstimulated, we won't be able to give anything to any of our goals or even to our own partners. That's why you see women, they're like, okay, I can't hear it. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to do it. Overstimulation. So listen to your body. If you're sick, if you're tired, if you're in pain, if you feel agitated, if you feel like you have anxiety, all of these things are messages from the body telling you to slow down. And this was a huge thing for me, including myself this year. Slow down. You can still be ambitious. You can still have all these goals that you want to accomplish, but make sure that you take that time for yourself to sit with yourself without any noise, because that will allow us to continue moving forward with grace and motivation and energy and clarity.
You mentioned the word routine. From a fitness perspective, I mean, I know that you say having a strict routine and having, you know, the strict diet plan, it's not sustainable and it's not practical because life happens. So what would you say in order to bring balance to someone that's trying to invest in their fitness journey?
Discipline is very important, but throughout all my years of experience, what I've learned that's even more important is understanding your body, understanding when your body needs recovery, what your body is trying to tell you, knowing when you're going through a lot of stress. Sometimes going to the gym will be a priority, but sometimes recovery will be a much more of a priority. Right now, we have all this information on social media that can be so conflicting. You have so many coaches out there that don't understand what it feels like to be overweight or to not have energy or to go through depression or to feel tired after training and feel overwhelmed or intimidated. We have to have more empathy and compassion, because just because you could be very disciplined and very energetic, that approach doesn't work for everyone. It's not realistic. You have already the younger generation comparing themselves on social media, looking at all of these women on social media, looking at their body, looking at their lifestyle, comparing themselves, and just making them feel less worthy. And that's why a lot of people, they tend to say, you know what, training doesn't work for me. The gym doesn't work for me. This diet doesn't work for me, because everything is so tough. Like, you have to follow this program. And if you do it, they make you feel like a failure, or you have to be punished, or you have to have this guilt and shame. Where is compassion? Where is that understanding of a program is great for guidance, Okay, do what you can today. Try to create small habits that will help you to be consistent. These small wins is what's going to make you feel good about yourself to continue moving forward. If we feel like we're already failing from the very beginning, that's why a lot of the times people don't want to continue. So it's important. Like for me, yes, it's important to have routine, to wake up, move your body, be active. Some days my body is exhausted and I don't want to move and I just want to lay around and I just want to say, you know what, today I need to relax my mind, because fitness is not just about moving your body and exercising. We have to look at our entire body as a whole, internally and externally. The stress factors, emotional, physical, chemical, these are one of the most important things that influence the way that we feel and how we move through our daily life. And a lot of the times, these topics are not as spoken about compared to an exercise program or nutrition. So it's like really sitting with yourself. If you don't want to train, if your body feels tired, if you feel overstimulated, really pay attention to your daily routine, your thought patterns, where you're investing your time. Understanding oneself is the most important thing to create the best routine that works for you.
Mm-hmm. I mean, there's a lot of people that's on day one of their fitness journey. And like you said, a lot of the coaches don't understand someone that's been overweight or that struggles with these issues. As someone that has gone through that firsthand, what would you say to someone who is saying, okay, this is day one of my fitness journey, and they're looking to you for advice on how do I start, but to be consistent?
So for my day one on my fitness journey, I was like, that's it. I'm going to the gym. I remember when I went to the gym, I walked in there and I was just so intimidated.
Mhm.
I was like, everyone looks fit. Everyone seems like they know what they're doing. And why do I feel like suddenly everyone is staring at me?
Mhm.
And I'm like, okay, but what am I going to do? Where am I going to start? I don't know what the hell I'm doing. Back then, there was no YouTube or any of that. I had to go to the library and get books and learn and stuff. Yeah. So that's how it started.
Yeah.
And I learned all on my own. But that's when I had that moment of, okay, this is a bit much for me right now. And I don't want to feel distracted that people are looking at me. I already felt a little bit uncomfortable and insecure. So that's when I started going for walks at night. And I remember my friend Jennifer, we were living together and she's like, that's not going to do anything. And I used to go back to the living room, do like these kickbacks and all of these exercises at home. And she's like, oh, you have to go to the gym. You need a trainer. You need a plan. And I'm like, doing anything more than what I was doing is going to be better than nothing.
Yeah.
So start with anything that you can start with that is going to be easy for you to sustain it. So going for me walking, it felt at night, it was quiet, it was peaceful. It was a form of therapy for me because it wasn't about I need to lose weight. It was about understanding myself again. How did I lose myself? Why did I get to where I'm at right now? And I just had those walks to self-reflect. And that's what motivated me to continue trying to understand, okay, my life, where do I want to be? What am I doing? How did I get here? And that's how it all started, by going for walks outside. And then I started feeling good. And then I started drinking more water. Then I stopped drinking soda. So I started slowly building small habits. And then through that, replacing habits.
Yeah.
Because if we overwhelm ourselves, suddenly, this is where we tend to fail and we're not consistent. Actually, it's very interesting that we're talking about this. I have it in my purse.
Okay.
So there's this new book that I'm reading. It's a good friend of mine. His name is Luke Smith. It's not out on Amazon yet. I don't know if you're going to be upset that I'm talking about it, Luke. He's probably like, why is she talking about it? It's not out yet.
Mhm.
But he just printed these books and he gave it to me before yesterday. And it's called The Intermission, 2% at a time.
Mhm.
And this is why I thought about it right now, because it's so true. 2% at a time. And he's one of the main reasons that made me realize to be more present,
Yeah.
put my phone down more, focus on meditating and being present with myself, even though I used to do it. But like, that's why I use that as advice, because we can fall out and be pulled
Mhm.
by everything else. And just doing the 2%, you can have a list of things and you choose that 2% daily. Whether if it's spending more time with your family, if it's reading 2 pages out of a book, and just doing little bit at a time,
Mhm.
those consistent habits is what builds over time and creates lasting changes.
You, as Dina, And that the fact that you're so strong in your boundaries of working with what aligns for you. Has there ever been something that you've had to turn down that's like, oh, I really don't want to, but you had to because it doesn't align with you?
Hmm.
Like a fitness collab or a brand collab?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, collaborations, I'd say the most. You do have many different companies and people that want to collaborate with you. And we can get caught up with promoting and advertising. And you're like, oh, okay, that's a good deal. You know, I can make some money. That money will help me with what I'm working on.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to be very careful with that because money is energy and your time is the most valuable thing that you have in life. And in the beginning, I'm like, yeah, I'll do this, I'll do that, I'll do this, I'll do that. And it was exciting and everything. But I'm like, hold on. I need to use my energy into the goals that I want to achieve that align with my values is the most important thing. And don't get caught up feeling like you have to do certain things because it will support one another. True, you will have things that will support your goals, but make sure that it's not draining you of the energy that you need to focus on yourself. When you preserve your energy and focus on yourself, you can achieve far much more than what you think you'll get out of a collaboration. And also collaborations that just don't align with you and how you see your future. You know, so I'm like, what's the point out of this? What? To gain more followers? I want followers of people that want to follow my content, believe in my mission, and want to be a part of it. I don't want the numbers just to go up. It's not about that. And people can get caught up with trying to do things viral and trying to do things that they really don't want to do. They're like, I really don't want to do this, but if it's what's going to get me viral, I really don't want to do this, but this is what people are doing. Forget about all that because you're going to build a community when people believe that what you're saying and doing is from the heart. And this is the most important thing. Don't lose that touch with yourself. And this is what's going to connect you with your community.
I love that. Say no. It's okay to
It's
say
okay to
no.
say no.
I mean,
say no more often.
yes, you should.
Yeah.
Hilary Duff said in a speech, she said that being a child actress, you know, she had all these opportunities that came her way and she took every single one of them because she thought, how lucky am I that I have these opportunities? And she said yes to every single one of them. And then growing up, she realized that was not meant for me. That
Yeah.
destroyed me. I was not supposed to do that. And as a woman, like you believe that you're not deserving of these opportunities. So you
Yeah.
just say yes to every single one of them.
Yeah.
And then you're sitting at the end of it like, why did I do that to myself?
I think it's important to understand why we say yes and why we say no to anything that we do. For an example, in my younger years when I first moved here, I was saying yes to everything. And that was one of the best things that I could have done for myself at that time. Because when I said yes, I learned so much. I started connecting with more people and it gave me more confidence. And that was part of my growth. But now going out of that phase, that's when you have to differentiate and be able to determine when to say no, when to say yes. Because it's great to say yes. It's great, especially when you don't really have much going on in your life. It helps you to understand what you want to do. But if you have a specific goal and you know exactly what you want to do, that's where we have to be more careful on where we commit ourselves to. But if you're someone that you're just in the phase right now where you're kind of like, I don't know what I want to do, I don't know how to move forward, then say yeah. Because then you're going to see what you want to do, what you don't want to do. So it's just knowing when and why.
I think you're the perfect example of that because a lot of people think that you only can be one thing. And I
Yeah.
mean, cats, fitness, two things that you wouldn't think go together, but that are you.
Yeah.
And it's you living proof that you don't have to be one thing. You can reinvent yourself as
Yeah.
many times as you want.
Yeah.
I mean, you said that you've been on all ends of the extreme. Basically, okay, I'm overweight, and now I'm severely underweight, and I'm suffering with anorexia and bulimia. And then I'm okay. I have one stray cat. Now I have 500. So I mean,
Yeah.
it's okay to be a lot of things.
Yeah, it's interesting that you say that because one of my friends years ago, I think there's a book, I think it's called The One Thing. It's something The One. I think it's The One Thing. And he read that book and he was like, Dina, this is where you're struggling because you're always juggling more than one thing. If you just focus on one thing at a time, you will accomplish so much more. And there is truth to that because if you only focus on one thing, you have all the time in the world to get it all done much faster. And I think people get caught up with trying to do things very fast. Yes, the faster we do things, the faster we can grow, the faster we can get there. But looking back at my life, I'm so glad that I didn't. because pacing through things allowed me to really process every challenge that I went through and learn from it properly, and provided that growth that I needed to be where I want to be for my fitness launch. If I would have launched my app years ago, all right, probably would have made money by then, probably still would have learned along the way as well. I'm just such a different person that I am now than when I was. I'm a different coach. The way that I approach my clients, the way my perspective on my outlook on things on life is just so different. So I disagree with doing one thing at a time. I'm doing my fitness app. I have my merchandise for the cats.
Let's talk about that for a
Yeah,
second, right?
So, and it's like, it's taking longer, but I'm connecting it all. And now I'm having this chance to allow the community to connect with me, to connect with the cats, and to be part of something that's far greater than ourselves, where I'm helping people and I'm helping cat, and now people can be a part of it. So now I'm going to be launching everything at once, which made it, I feel like, much more powerful than if I would have done it years ago separately.
Can you give us a sneak peek of what we can expect for the merchandise?
Yes. I'm so excited. So it's not launched yet, but it is very soon. Just yesterday, I finally sent out my final design prints. So it's called Street Kitties & Co. And it's going to be, all profits are going to go to funding and continuing my mission for rescuing stray cats. So for every purchase, people are part of the solution now. And I want to be transparent about showing all the merchandise I got sold and our goals and what we're going to move forward with those profits. So I created one design that I really love. It's a hoodie, and in the back of the hoodie, it's someone wearing a hoodie, and the cat is in a heart, because you have so many people out there that are doing their part, and they're rescuing animals, they're rescuing cats, but they're not on social media. They don't post videos. No one knows who they are. No one knows that person that goes out every single day at night with their bag food, their bag of cat food, and feed all the stray cats, hundreds of cats. Nobody knows them. So it's like this hoodie is that, they're in the background. No one sees, no one knows on social media, but they're out there making a huge difference. And I want to thank them for that. Even though they're not noticed on social media, I know people are out there, and I made that sweater for them. So I'm very passionate about that part, because through this journey, I've met so many lovely people, and they show me what they do. And I'm like, oh my God, you're such an amazing person. And they're like, I don't have social media. I don't know about social media. I don't know how to do videos and stories. And it just makes you realize how so many people are out there doing so much. And we think by what we see on social media is reality. It's not reality. That's just what people are sharing on social media.
Let's speak about the cats for a second, right? Because that's a huge part of Dina.
It is.
You've seen a couple not nice things in terms of stray cats and the condition that they have to live in, and the animal cruelty that no one really sees because it's not really spoken about or posted on social media.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're comfortable sharing a bit about it, would you like to?
Yeah. I mean, you have to ask me, though. There's so much I could talk about.
What's the worst thing that you've seen?
Oof. The worst thing I've seen, a cat that face was completely split open in half, completely open in half. And let's say 80% of people were like, Dina, just do the cat a favor and put the cat to sleep. Just put it out of its misery. And a lot of the times people tend to put cats to sleep, one, because they think that it won't be able to live the rest of its life without pain and suffering. Two, most of the time because it's too expensive to treat. And people are like, I can't afford it. I can't continue this treatment. Instead of allowing the cat to be in pain, just put it to sleep. And three, sometimes people can't handle seeing a cat suffering. But we have to keep in mind, we also suffer as humans. If something happened, God forbid, to anyone that we care about, we're not going to say, you know what, pull the cord. Just why don't you just give up and just give your life away? You're going through cancer, or you have a lot of pain, just kill yourself. No, you're not going to say that, right?
Yeah.
You're going to say, you have to fight through this. We are all given one life to live, unless we're reincarnated, but one life to live.
Well, cats have 9.
We all have one life to live. And every soul deserves that fighting chance. And when I saw that, I was like, no, we are going to fight for this cat's life. And there was an incredible Dr. David at Dr. Wells Clinic sewed this cat up back together, and it has this scar coming down with one eye, and it's with me in my home. Her name is Phoenix.
Oh, you adopted her?
Well, I mean, hopefully I can rehome her because I'm always going to be rescuing cats. And
Yeah.
in the beginning, I'm like, no one's taking this cat. I want this cat. It's with me. I love it. I've been through so much with him.
Mhm.
But now I realize that it's not right to keep your rescues with so many cats. They all deserve to be in a safe home, being loved. I don't have that time. And it's not healthy for so many cats to be around each other. But to come back to Phoenix, it's these moments like Phoenix literally grabs me by the neck and kisses me all over my face. Oh, Phoenix, okay, I love you. I get it. But they look at you like they are literally thanking you. Like they know that you saved their life. And you have these moments with them. These are the moments that keep me moving forward. And it's just like, that's why I tend to take the most critical cases because I know that most people wouldn't. And I'm just like, no, we need to give them a second chance at life.
Yeah.
And this is why we're at $500,000 in debt with vet bills, because we've taken on the cases that require a lot of long-term care. But look, most of them are now thriving, living their best life. Yeah, it's a lot of vet bills, but now you've given them a chance to live the rest of their life. And for me, this is the most valuable thing that you can do for someone, for any soul, for any animal, is saving that life. So.
I mean, you spoke about the fact that you take on cases that most people wouldn't. Like, for instance, the feline leukemia, that a lot of people would just say, oh, terminally ill, put down, and you still believe in it. And I think that there's something that maybe you didn't pick up, but it links directly to fitness as well, that you invest in things that other people have given up on. Their bodies, themselves, the cats. I think that's a huge part of who you are.
It is. That's interesting that you brought that up because I know how it feels to be alone. I know how it feels not to have anyone by your side. I've been very independent at a very young age, and did most of everything that I do by myself. And maybe that's why I want to be there for others. That's why I feel like I know how it feels, and I just want people to feel like they're not doing it alone. And same thing with the animals. That's what gave me the courage and the determination to say, you know what? I'm going to rent out a place with my friend and we're going to give these cats a second chance at life because there's no place for them and people are going to put them to sleep. The paralyzed cats. Who's going to take care of a paralyzed cat?
Yeah.
It needs expressing of the bladder a couple of times a day. It needs proper monitoring and care. And in the beginning, it was so difficult. I was up till 4 a.m, 40 cats, giving them medication, washing them, cleaning the villa. And I was like trying to give them medication because I'm trying to reduce cost at the vet and everything. And it was so overwhelming and it was so tiring. And people may look at the sanctuary now, well, you have a team, you have this, you have that. It never started like that.
Yeah.
It all started with putting tents up in my garden and putting cats in these tents and one in this bathroom, one in that bathroom, treating this one with ringworm, giving this one medication because I couldn't afford it. And I would go to the vet and I'm like, listen, what could I do at home? I will give the medication. And that's how it all started. And I'm sharing this because I just want people to know if this is something that they're passionate about, you can start with nothing and you can learn along the way.
Yeah.
But those are for the people that feel like they can't do it, but you can. But yeah, it's trying to, instead of thinking of what I can't do, I like to think of what can I do to help me get to where I need to be to make it happen. So for an example, being in debt now with the vet bills, and I have a partner. She has been the backbone of everything that we do. We've scaled all of the rescuing because of her. If it wasn't for her supporting a lot of the vet bills, I wouldn't be where we are today. The social media also made a significant impact. So our combined efforts is what allowed us to take on more rescues. But also, it became too much. I tend to take on much more than I can swallow. And that's just how I am as a person, how I've been all my life. And it can be a bit destructive a little bit, but at the same time, that's why I sit with it. And I'm like, all right, I'm going to learn because I'm not going to allow this to fall apart. I take on more than I can, but at the same time, I'm trying to grow through the process. So for an example, my friend's like, I can't continue with this anymore. It's too much. It's overwhelming, Dina. It's just so many cats and we have so many bills and I just can't continue. Instead of being like, oh my God, I'm going to have to do this on my own. What am I going to do? How am I going to do this? At least I had a partner, at least this and that. No, calm down, Dina. Now, oh, interesting. How can I continue this and move forward and create a business out of this that can help sustain it all? Because right now I'm trying to juggle so many things without thinking on long-term financial sustainability. That's where I came with the fitness app. That's where I came with the merchandise and everything. So it's like, it just forces you to grow if you're willing to look at it like that. Mm-hmm. Because you can easily fall apart. Yeah. The times where you're struggling is either going to make you or break you. Uh-huh. Don't allow it to convince you that it won't work. Uh-huh. Just keep focusing on ways on how it can work. That's what it's trying to help you do. And that's where growth comes, through these challenges.
You being so vulnerable, talking about, the real problems that you have in both ends of your businesses. And I mean, from an outsider's perspective, you look at Dina and you're like, oh my gosh, how does she do it all? Like, she's so beautiful. She has all these successful businesses, and no one actually sees, no one sees you crying by yourself at night, thinking about, oh my goodness, how am I going to cope the next day? How am I going to get myself out of this problem? And I feel like it relates directly back to what you see on social media. It's just a facade, because what you see is not at all what's happening behind the doors. Yeah. And I think it's just about understanding that. Because I know sometimes you feel like, girl, you don't want my life. Trust me. Like, you wouldn't be able to.
Oh, I cry in the shower all the time. Mm-hmm. I cry all the time. But faith, God, the Lord, is what gives me that strength. Honestly, I feel like I'm not alone. And every time I pray, I swear to God, God listens to my prayers. God lets me know. Because every time I pray and I ask for clarity or I ask for guidance, I get those signs. And people tend to ask me, like, how do you know? How did it become your calling? Like, how did you know? Literally, it's called a calling for that exact reason. It calls out to you. Yeah. There have been so many times, I'll give you an example. I'm literally driving, talking to the owner of the vet. And she's just like, Dina, you need to stop rescuing. It's a lot. You're taking on a lot. And I'm like, you know what? You're right. Okay, I'm going to stop rescuing. I promise I'm not going to take in any cat this month. I promise you. Okay, I won't do it. Mark my word. A cat is literally on the bridge on the highway. That's when I rescued Bridge. I called him Bridge. I'm like, oh my God. I have to hang up. There's a cat on the bridge. Boom. And then it happened literally 3 times in a row, exactly when I said I'm not going to rescue. I'm driving in the car with my mom, and my mom's like, Dina, habibti, you're rescuing too much. Please, it's enough. And I'm like, inshallah, mama, khalas, I know I'm taking on a lot. Khalas, I'm not going to rescue. Don't worry. Everything's going to be fine. Allah knows best. And then a cat literally crossing the road, worms coming out, skin and bones, mouth completely infected, baby Sue. I'll share this footage with you, And it's like, then I'm talking to my partner on the phone. And I'm like, she's like, what are we going to do? And I'm like, I don't know what I'm going to do. I know I keep saying that I'm not going to rescue, but, I don't know. Should we just stop this whole rescue thing and just we're going to focus only on rehoming cats? And then literally a tiny baby kitten on the middle of a busy 6-lane highway. And it's just like, it always happens in moments of doubt. It's as if the universe is calling out to me and telling me, no, keep doing what you're doing, but do it with strategy. Yeah. Be more focused. Have a system in place. Focus on sustainable solutions and continue moving forward instead of thinking of the things that are setting you back. They're setting you back to force you to look in a different direction.
100%. I mean, you said something about calling. And I feel like a lot of people, when you have this out of the ordinary idea, it's not easily accepted, and people will always tell you, oh, that's never going to work. Oh, that doesn't sound like a good idea. But respectfully, you weren't given the calling. I was. And it's my job to make sure that I follow it through. And I mean, your cats, for example, you could easily sit there and said, okay, I can't do this anymore. It's not meant for me. But the odds that happened at that time, and it just shows you that that's what it's meant for you.
And I can't see a human. I can't see any soul suffering in front of me, and I don't do anything about it. I just can't do it. My it doesn't allow me to do it. No matter what, people say like, oh, why does it limit to cats? Why not dogs? Why don't you help people? People don't know what I'm doing on my day-to-day life. You know what I mean? But I have to be the voice for the voiceless. So no matter who this is part of who I am. It's in my being. It's in my soul. What I question is how could someone see that and not try to do something? Even if you're limited. I was limited. When I was cycling and how it all started by seeing cats along the route, and I used to put cat food. And I found a cat, it was shot by a BB gun. And I picked it up and it was hanging. I have the video and it was hanging on my chest like this. And I had to go 40 minutes to go to the vet and bring it to the vet. And from there, because back then you're not allowed cats inside a taxi. Now you do have some pet taxi, but you're not allowed to put cats in Ubers and taxis. So literally, used to have a backpack with food and then a backpack just in case if I found a cat that was sick. And I used to go to the vet anytime I found a sick cat, 40 minutes away on my bicycle. And that's how I used to treat the cats. And I would even eat oatmeal for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, just so that I wouldn't have to spend money on food, because I was calculating how much money I had and how I wanted to do TNR in the areas where I was doing my cat feeding colonies. And I'm like, okay, TNR costs this much. I have 10 cats here. I have 6 cats there. No, I'm not going to buy this. I'm not going to buy that. And I started budgeting myself just to be able to do that for the cats, because you see them suffering and then you come back, the cat's pregnant. Now kittens are dying. You come back, now another one is pregnant. And I'm like, if I'm going to be part of feeding the cats, it's going to create a bigger problem. So at the same time, if I'm going to be doing this, I got to do it right. I got to do TNR. I got to help these cats that are sick. And I went on social media on my fitness page. I didn't have Dubai Street Kitties at the time. And I'm like, hey, you guys. And I was so embarrassed. And I was like, how am I going to go on social media right now and talk about how I don't have money to help these cats? And I'm like, well, now I'm going to talk about me not having money and talk about my financial situation. And it was tough for me. And I was like, hey, you guys, there's so many cats that I'm feeding that need help, that need this. Nobody was responding. And I kept posting and posting. And everyone was like, Dina, this is a fitness page. I'm going to start unfollowing you if you start talking about cats. And then I was like, all right, let me create a Dubai Street Kitties page. So I created Dubai Street Kitties page. And I had no followers, and I just started posting on there my cat feeding rounds. And that's when the woman reached out to me. And she said, Dina, I've been seeing what you're doing for the cats, and I also want to help rescue cats. Let's do it together. And then that was a huge realization for me, that there are people out there that do want to be part of it, don't know how. And I'm like, just share everything that you're doing. Share and see who you can connect with and do it together. When we unite as a community, we can accomplish so much more together. When I see the sanctuary with 500 cats, I don't look at these cats and think, I rescued them. I look at it and say, wow, look what we have done together as a community. Every single person that shared our post, that commented, that contributed, that fostered, that visited, this is all part of the solution. This is what's making it sustainable. This is all how it grew. Us together. Community is everything. So don't be discouraged if you feel alone. Put yourself out there. Don't be afraid to put yourself out there. And eventually you will connect with people who are like-minded, and you guys can grow together.
Well, if anyone's looking for a community to join in, the cat rescue world, where would you say that they need to go?
Hold on, I didn't hear you. Sorry.
If anyone that's looking for a community to join in the cat rescue world, where would you say that they need to go?
So I have so many people, like from Australia, different parts of the world, where they want to adopt from us. And as much as I appreciate them reaching out to us, and I want to send cats everywhere because I have so many, I also encourage them to be part of the rescuers and the shelters that are in their own community. You have, like, from Australia, what's her Kitty Rescue Australia, I think. And many people are not aware of what's happening. Even in Turkey, you have cats everywhere being loved and cared for. But there are also parts in Turkey where many sick cats are being relocated and dumped and not being treated. Every part of the world, we're dealing with a stray cat overpopulation. This is everywhere. It's not the UAE. And see, this is the thing with social media. Whatever you look in, you're going to see more of. So because of us rescuers, we're in that world. When we upload these videos, it seems like so much is happening. And people are like, oh my God, look what's happening in the UAE. Why is this happening? No, this is happening in your country as well. And for all of you that are watching right now, I would love for you to share what you think in the comments below on what you see that's happening in your country. And if you don't know, search. Search for any rescuers in your community or shelters. I bet you they're at full capacity. And you will be surprised by the stories that you hear that's happening in your city that you're not aware of. Even if there is laws in place that are strict for pet abandonment, even if there's a system in place for huge TNR campaigns, it's overwhelming and they're by the thousands everywhere. That's why the only way that we can truly get down to the root issue of everything is if people in the community get involved more, because it's much bigger than what people realize. So get involved in your own community first. Search for people in your area and see how you can help them. Fostering, I swear to God, sharing posts on social media makes a huge impact and helps rescuers. Because the more we raise awareness, the more support people can get, the more and faster the cats will get adopted. This is the most important thing. So people say, well, I don't have money. You don't need money. Share the post. Yeah. Go on Facebook. Facebook groups are the best way to connect with the communities, to answer your question, because you have Facebook groups for everything. You could look for animal, like cats of Damac Hills, you know what I mean? And you can just type whatever your community neighborhood is and put pets or cats or adoption or rescue, and you will find by the hundreds. And each of these groups have more than 10,000 people in that group. You have a question, you want some advice, you need some support, or even if you find sick cats and you don't know who to ask because you don't have a following, and if you reach out to well-known rescuers on social media that are already overwhelmed, Facebook is the way to go.
I mean, you said that there's a stray cat crisis, not only in the UAE, but globally. But let's relate back to the UAE. Would you say that it's because of bad pet ownership or adoptions, the breeders abandoning it because it's no longer profitable?
I believe the issue here in the UAE is mainly because you have people that come here from different parts of the world. If you look at the population here, majority of the population are expats. And they come here for a period of time. If it doesn't work out or if they're ready to move back, they go back to their home country. So this is the main problem. A lot of the times that people adopt, they don't, one, realize the responsibility. They're like, oh my God, my cat got sick. I wasn't prepared for that. They get usually a pet because they're lonely. They came here for work. They feel lonely to a point where like, I could do with a cat right now. I could do with a dog right now and keep me company, but they're not financially secure, and because they don't live here, it's not their home. They don't have family or friends that they grew up with, that if something were to happen, they can fall back and I'm going to stay at yours for now, or I'm going to move in with my parents, or my parents will take the pet. So they're like, oh my God, what am I going to do? When they have to go back to their home country, it's usually because they got laid off. So they don't have those finances like they did initially. And this can happen to anyone. We have to be very careful on how we judge people, because in a harsh world, like, especially when you see all these cats on the street, I can fall into this, oh my God, they're so irresponsible. Look at them. People are just leaving their pets behind. But then when you start to meet people and you understand their story, some people are irresponsible and many, they're just going through a lot. And I meet so many people where they're like, oh, I found this cat and she was dying on the street and this and that. And I took her in, she turned out to be pregnant. And then she had kittens and all of that. And then I took care of the kittens and then nobody adopted them. And now I have 7 cats in my home and I didn't want to put them on the street. So then you hear these stories and then you see how they're living and you're like, everyone is just trying to do their best. So let's not be judgmental of it. Everyone's story is different. But yes, it does come down to irresponsible ownership. And then you have people buying from the pet shop. No one's filtering these people out. No one knows if they're reliable, if they understand the responsibility of a cat, if they know the financial commitment that it takes if a cat gets FIP or has liver or kidney, dysfunction. What are you going to do if you have to pay 10,000 dirhams suddenly? Are you going to pay for the cat? Because you do have people that have money, but they're not responsible and they won't pay. And they'll just put the cat out. It's not well, it's sick. I don't want a sick cat to be around my children. So they put it out. And then you do have people who are not fully financially stable, but if something happens to their cat, they'll do whatever it takes to make sure that cat gets treated. If that's paying small amounts to the vet every month and making a program with them, selling things that they have to be able to treat the cat. So it's important when people are adopting to be able to filter out and educate them. We have to educate people. A lot of the times people have no idea what they're getting themselves into. Not everyone should adopt, and not every cat should be rescued. Some cats, I don't rescue every cat I see on the street. That's why I take on the ones that I know that are not going to survive. You can't rescue every cat. So you have to know the responsibility that you're taking on. And I think at the end of the day, it would be great for it to be more feasible for people to be able to travel with their pets, but also people don't know the process it takes. The rabies shot, the vaccination, the book, the health certificate, all of that. So suddenly they need to leave because their parents are having a health crisis and financial issues. They're like, oh my God, right now their family is far more important than trying to get a cat vaccinated. So they're stuck in between. And then they give their cat away to someone else, and then they give their cat to someone else. So, it's just education, raising awareness, and teaching people what they have to do in case if this happens. Being able to understand, okay, what am I going to do if I face an issue like this? How do I see this planning out? Just being prepared for it in advance.
How do you determine which cat, gets rescued and which doesn't?
If they're able to survive on the street, that if I see a cat and it's suffering, I don't even think about it. Sometimes I don't. Sometimes I'm not the smartest person when I make my decisions for the cats, And I'm just like, I'll worry about it later. Because in moments like that, I just feel like you can't waste time. You have to act immediately and figure out a plan later. But if a cat is going to be able to survive on the street, I create a cat feeding station, I put water, and then I just come back every week and I fill the food and water up. You can't save them all. So it's very important to know what to take on. So that's why it's the ones that are suffering are the ones that I take on.
And then if they don't make it, how do you deal with the grieving process?
Yeah, I still get emotional about it every single day. There are some cases where it really breaks my heart. And I always cry. But it's life. And we're all going to have our day where it's going to be our last as well. And we too can die at any day. We're not guaranteed a tomorrow. And this is how life is. But it is emotionally draining. And it just, hold on, let me redo this because.
We have tissues if need be.
No.
It must be difficult to talk
Yeah,
about.
it is. It is difficult to talk about. Yeah. It is difficult to talk about the ones that didn't make it. It still impacts me. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to sit here and act like, this is life and everything. Because it is. This is. We're all going to have our day where it's going to be our last. And we're not guaranteed a tomorrow. But it's also, it weighs on me a lot, especially when you have formed this kind of connection. And then I rescue them and I'm like, everything is going to be okay. Don't worry, I'm going to take care of you. And then they don't make it. And I'm like, oh, they didn't make it. But you know what? Then I have to remind myself, at least they didn't die alone. At least they were cared for in those last moments. And I have to remind myself that because I can easily fall into it of like, oh my God, it died. Maybe if I didn't take it to the vet, maybe it would have survived or something, Because sometimes I think the cats can get even more stressed at the vet because they don't understand. They're in a cage suddenly and it can weaken their immune system and they can get more depressed. That's why when I rescue it, instead of just immediately putting in a cage and acting fast, I try to calm it down. Everything's going to be okay. I love you. I'm here for you. And I try to let them know so that they're not stressed out more. But yeah, we can't save them all. And at least if I know that I tried my best, this is the most important thing. When I know if I didn't do it, that would hurt me much more. So that's why I do what I do. I'm like, okay, I tried.
Has there been any specific cases that you've got really attached to them and then they just don't pull through?
Like
one that you can think of.
Teddy. And it's crazy because how I found him. I was driving and I always have these moments in my gut. Mm-hmm. It tells me to look somewhere. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, this is why I say it's your calling. Like I'd be driving on the highway and I'm like, something is telling me to look. So, and then I'm like, no, Dina, it's because you rescue so many cats on the highway now. Your reticular activating system is on it. Mm-hmm. I'm like, no, but then it happens. And I'm like, oh my God. And that's why in the videos, I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe I just saw a cat on the highway. And then you have people commenting, they're like, calm down, Dina. But they don't know what I was just feeling before that, where I was like, why do I feel like there's a cat somewhere nearby and I can sense it right now? So that's why when I finally see it, I'm like, oh my God, the universe is telling me and it's guiding me. So I was driving one day and then I had just moved into a new area and it's literally in the middle of nowhere. So I wanted to discover where the supermarkets were, the grocery store. So I was looking on Google Maps and I was driving around and there was a restaurant literally in the middle of nowhere. And I'm like, I need to reverse and I need to go over there because if there's a restaurant in the middle of the desert, for sure there's going to be cats there. So boom, I reverse. And then in the parking lot, a cat was laying there, bleeding out of its mouth. It got hit by a car. I jumped out of the car and I looked at it, his cries. Oh my God. And I was like, oh my God. I picked it up, I put it in the car. And we treated this cat in the vet for like, I don't know, let's say 2 months. And it started getting stronger. Literally, it was on the brink of death. It was on the brink of death. And it was unconscious. It was completely flat. And when I came to visit him, and the way he looked at me, I swear to God, it's like he knew me. He saw my face and I'm like, Teddy! And he was like, and he couldn't move. And he looked up with all the last energy that he has. And he looked into my eyes. He remembered me. And I was like, oh my God, this cat remembers me. It knows my voice. And because they told me he's dying, Dina. They're like, Dina, he's dying. It would be best if you came. When he looked at me, I could see in his eyes that hope where he's like, I'm going to live and I'm going to fight through this. And he had all this energy just to lift his head up. And I was like, oh my God. And he survived and he got stronger every day. And he started walking eventually. And it was a miracle. But then what happened was he started losing weight every single day. And he was eating 10 packets of wet food every day, 10 packets. And he wouldn't stop. And he was crazy for the food. But we couldn't figure out why he was losing weight. There was like a communication pathway that wasn't properly communicating, you know? Like there was some kind of disconnection with the brain and the nervous system and the digestive system, because no matter how much he was eating, he wasn't gaining weight and he was becoming weaker and weaker and weaker. And then one day I woke up at 4 o'clock in the morning like this. And I was like, and I'm like, Teddy is going to die. I can feel it. Teddy is dying. So I messaged the vet and I'm like, at 7 a.m., I'm like, listen, as soon as you open the vet, I'm going to come right now. I want to see Teddy. So I know that they open at 9 o'clock. I'm driving there so I can reach there at 9 o'clock. As soon as they open, they call me and they're like, we walked in the vet. Teddy is dead. And I was like, oh my God, I felt him. I felt him in my sleep dying. So I know it can sound a bit, whatever for some people, but
That's their perspective. Everyone's going to understand.
That's why it's like you have these people and you're like, oh, you're the crazy cat lady. And then you meet people and they're like, yeah, you really love cats. You know what I mean? And I'm like, you don't understand. People won't understand unless they're in that world. And it's just, that's what's being human. These are living souls that have feeling and that remember and that love, just like we do. Have their trauma, have their triggers, have their story, just like we do. And this is what life is about for me.
I don't think that you should care about what others perceive you as.
No, I
because
don't.
at the end of the day, you are being you. And look at how many lives being you has saved. So, I mean, it's easy for someone to sit on the other end of the screen and say, look at her, look at what she's doing, That could never be me. But then again, there's others looking at the screen and say, oh my goodness, look at her. I wish that I could be like her.
It's not your normal life. And it's a bit chaotic and it's an emotional roller coaster. It's a lot of commitment and responsibility that not a lot of people understand. And, you feel lonely at times, especially like, where are you going to meet a partner, a man that is understanding of everything that you do and that can understand, like, not just say, I understand, but truly understands, because they're like, I understand because I'm also a compassionate person and I love animals. It's probably a very small percentage out there that can truly understand and support that mission of yours, because it does take a lot of time and a lot of commitment. So it can be very lonely. And, You feel like people don't understand you, but it's not my job to please everyone.
Yeah.
It's my job to follow my heart and do what fulfills my life.
I mean, let's speak about relationships for 1 second, right? Setting boundaries. What's your take on that?
Oh gosh, setting boundaries. I was the worst for it. That's probably why I went through the things that I went through and stayed in relationships that didn't serve me well, because I never set boundaries, because I always convinced myself and justified everything. Like, no, I want to stay in this relationship and work through it. So you accept a lot of things that don't align with you. You accept the disrespect or the cheating and the lies, because you think you're being a good partner. You think you're trying to move forward with this and try to grow from this. Like, we can grow from this, you know? Um, Setting boundaries is something that I'm learning right now. This book is actually really good about that as well. But I'm still learning how to set those boundaries, because I'm not the kind of person where I want to go from one person to another, and that's why I'm like, everyone is going to have these difficulties and challenges. And I just want to be able to grow with that person. But it's so important. If someone does you dirty, someone does you wrong, just cut them off. And this is something that I've learned that I always said I would do. I was that girl that used to tell their friends, like, girl, leave him. He cheated on you. He lied to you. No. And then I ended up staying in a relationship like that. And that's why it's so important to self-reflect. Why did I stay in that relationship, and understand yourself? For now, I have those boundaries. If it doesn't align with me, you don't understand me, it's okay. We don't have to be together. It's totally fine. We don't have to continue this. I don't have to date you. You don't have to date me. It needs to feel, relationships should move with flow and grace. We're all different, and we don't have to agree, and we don't have to have the same lifestyles. We just have to be understanding of each other. And the older that you get, you can see how people are they would rather move from one relationship to another as soon as something doesn't sit right, or as soon as something they don't agree with. Yes, it's important to set boundaries that don't align with your integrity and your values. But you don't have to think exactly alike, and you don't have to live a life exactly the same. You can still disagree. And that's the beauty in being in a relationship, is being different than one another, but also being understanding, loving, and supportive instead of being judgmental. And this is the most important thing in relationships that I still didn't meet yet. So if you're out there, maybe you could leave a comment below. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Okay, last one. If this is the only podcast that a woman watches the entire year, what would you want her to take away from this conversation?
Before you get pulled away from responsibility, family, children, life, work, stress, before you start your day, have time for yourself. Have time for yourself. If you've never meditated before, try it, because that's what's going to help calm your nervous system down before being into reactive mode. Just calm yourself. Invest in yourself first. And a lot of people fall into, but I have to do this and I have to do that. That's when you tell yourself that you don't have the time, or you tell yourself you can't, you're the one that needs it the most. If you find yourself making excuses not to take care of your health, you are the one that needs it more than anyone. Take that time for yourself. Calm yourself down and go be alone. Go sit with yourself at the beach. Invest in yourself is the most important thing for you to be able to continue moving forward, to regulate your emotions. We're already overstimulated. Calm that nervous system down and focus on your health more than anything, because that's something that I had to do for myself. And I'm still learning how to be more present. And this is the most important thing that I learned the most this year, is being more present. I was that person where I'm like, hold on a second. Yeah, hold on a second. Oh, I just have to do one thing. And I'm with someone and I'm like, yeah, I just have to make this phone call. Oh, I just have to do that. No, you don't have to do anything other than being where you are in that moment right now, because there's always going to be something that we're going to do. We're always going to be busy. There's always going to be responsibility. We're always going to be pulled away, especially with social media and responsibilities and everything. But what I see right now the most is people losing themselves, being present in the moment and having those moments of actually engaging with people, creating real connection, creating real relationships, you know? So it's like put the social media away, put the phone away, put the responsibilities away. When you're with your children, instead of giving them the iPad, sit with them and have real conversation. When you're with your partner, instead of you both looking at reels and sharing reels together or watching a movie all the time, whenever you do have free time, utilize that time to talk about how you feel, where you're at in life, just laugh together, grow together, and just try to make sure that you don't lose real connection.
Well, Dina, thank you so much for taking time out to speak to us today and for showing us that empowerment doesn't have to be one thing.
Yeah.
You know, from all the challenges that you face, you show us that you're a woman that keeps moving forward. And
You
I
too,
think,
actually. Everything that you've told me. Yes. And that's, yeah, you too. So I'm really happy to meet you and I appreciate that.
Mhm.
And I'm excited to share everything that you've been working on as well.
Well, do you want to tell our viewers where they can find you after this episode?
You can check me out on social media at Dubai Street Kitties, my website, DubaiStreetKitties.com, my fitness page, Fitness with Dina. And if you just follow any of those pages, you're going to be updated with everything that's going on. But for my cat rescue page, it's Dubai Street Kitties.
This has been Carpool with Kirsten, brought to you by Fempowerment. Remember to like, follow, and subscribe to see who's next up in our passenger seat. And until then, say to yourself, I'm fierce, I'm free, and I'm unapologetically me. See you next time. Okay, boys, let's roll out.